Hi, let's talk for a few moments about the poem Richard Cory by Edwin Arlington Robinson. Now, the poem is a terrific example of irony, one of the most often used terms in literature. What is irony? Well, if we look it up in our textbook, we find that irony has two meanings. There's the kind that they use in literature, or what they call verbal irony. That's just where the words have the opposite meaning of what they seem to have. Sarcasm is probably the most simple example of irony. But there is another kind of irony, the kind that we run across in our lives, and that's situational irony. If we look into the dictionary meaning, we find that irony can also mean when something comes out just the opposite of what is planned. When something comes out just the opposite of what is expected. And that's what we find in the Robinson poem, Richard Cory. Now, it's a poem about a wealthy young man, probably coming from a family of a very rich New England family that owns the big factory in town, that owns the big woolen mill in town, and it's told by probably a poor guy, a poor man in the town who has seen the rich young man and seen how wealthy he is and how it seems like everything is coming to him, and gosh, he wishes that he were that guy, except for what happens. Whenever Richard Cory went downtown, he starts, we people on the pavement looked at him. He was a gentleman from soul to crown, clean-favored, handsome face, and imperially slim. Everything that this poor man wants to be. And his clothes, oh, he was always quietly arrayed. And he was always, and when he talked so smoothly. He was always human and casual when he talked. In fine, he says, we thought that he was everything to make us wish that we were in his place. So, what do? We try hard to be the other man. So on we worked and waited for the light and went without the meat and cursed the bread. We worked hard. We put our money towards a college education. We were going to be like Richard Cory, and Richard Cory, that rich young man. And Richard Cory, one calm summer night, went home and put a bullet through his head. Okay, the big ironic finish to the poem. Now, why did Richard Cory commit suicide? We don't know. And that's not really what the poem is about. It could have been anything. The point is that we don't know. That this guy who appeared to have everything was so pursued by some inner monsters, inner demons, or disappointment that he blows his brains out. And in the meantime, here we are trying our best to be him. Okay, that is situational irony. There's also verbal irony too, because look at all of those verbal things that we are told about how wonderful Richard Cory's life is, that make us just gasp when we find out what happens to him at the end of the poem.